Have you ever looked around your home and thought, how did it get this crowded? Not messy, necessarily, but cluttered in a way that makes it harder to relax, harder to think, maybe even harder to breathe. The truth is, after 60, it's easy for things to quietly pile up. Not because we're careless, but because life leaves traces, memories, gifts, keepsakes, little decisions made over decades. In today's episode, we're breaking down 16 of the most common culprits that could be making your home feel cluttered without you even realizing it. These aren't always big or obvious. In fact, most of them blend into the background. Drawers full of forgotten gadgets, shelves packed with well-meant gifts, or furniture that no longer fits your lifestyle. But once you spot them, you'll start to see your home and your peace of mind in a whole new light. So if you're ready to reclaim your space, one small shift at a time, this list might just be the fresh start you didn't know you needed. Let's begin with the kind of clutter that doesn't scream for attention. It whispers. It hides in drawers, on countertops, behind cabinet doors. It's not chaotic enough to bother you at first glance, but over time, it wears you down. You see, the most stressful kind of clutter isn't the kind that shouts. It's the kind you've stopped noticing. 1. Paper that no longer serves you. It starts innocently enough. A bill you meant to file, a letter from your insurance company, a brochure that seemed important. Then one day you open a drawer and realize, this is a paper graveyard. You tell yourself you'll go through it later, but later becomes months or years. Here's the truth. Most of it, you don't need it. Utility bills from 3 years ago, shred them. Coupons that expired in 2021, gone. If you switch to digital billing, you'll cut the flow by half. Then give yourself one small drawer, just one, for the essentials. Make it a habit. Once a month, 10 minutes, no pressure. The moment you clear your first stack, something shifts. Your space clears. Your mind follows. 2. Gifts you feel guilty about. Now let's talk about something more emotional. The items we didn't choose, but still keep. The decorative bowl from a coworker, the handmade frame from a distant relative, the holiday sweater you never wore. We hold on to them because we think letting go is unkind, like rejecting the person who gave it. But here's a gentle reminder. A gift is meant to bring joy, not obligation. If it doesn't make you smile, if it doesn't have a place in your life, it's okay to let it go. You're not throwing away the person. You're honoring your home. Someone else might love that vase. A thrift shopper might treasure that clock. Let it continue its journey, just not on your shelf. 3. Expired medications and half-used bottles. The medicine cabinet is one of the most overlooked spaces in any home. It's easy to forget what's in there until you're digging through expired pain relievers and old allergy meds just to find a bandage. Many people, maybe even you, have medications from 10 years ago, prescriptions you never finished, or ointments long past their prime. Not only is this clutter, it's potentially dangerous. Set aside 20 minutes this week. Grab a trash bag, check every label. If it's expired, dispose of it safely. Most pharmacies now have return programs. It's quick, simple, and it feels so good to see that shelf finally make sense again. And next time you need something in a hurry, you'll find it, without the stress. Sometimes the mess we live with isn't loud. It's quiet, familiar, and persistent. But the moment we choose to look at it, really look, we give ourselves the power to change it. So here's your gentle nudge. Pick just one of these 3, just one, and take a small action today. It might seem like nothing until you notice how different your home feels with just a little less noise. Let's shift our focus now, from what's hidden behind doors to what's sitting right in front of you. You know the saying, you can't see the forest for the trees? That's what happens with this next type of clutter. We see it so often, we stop seeing it at all. 4. Decor that belongs to a different time. Walk through your living room. What do you see? Plastic fruit on the dining table? A silk plant in the corner that's been there for 20 years? Heavy drapes that block the sunlight? Decor has a way of anchoring us in a time that no longer fits who we are. Maybe those fake flowers used to make you smile. Maybe the ornate rug once matched the furniture you had. But now, it may be holding your space and your energy back. You don't have to redecorate your entire home. Even one small change can breathe new life into a room. Try a light, neutral curtain. Replace the plastic plant with a real one that's easy to care for, maybe a peace lily or snake plant. Let your home evolve with you. You've changed. Your space can too. 5. The junk drawer or drawers. Ah yes, the famous junk drawer. Or maybe you have 3 of them. We all do. They're filled with rubber bands, expired coupons, batteries that may or may not work, keys we can't remember what they unlock, and yet we keep stuffing more inside. The trick here isn't to clean them all at once. That feels overwhelming. Just choose one. One drawer, 1 hour, sort everything into 3 piles. Keep, toss, and donate. Keep only what you actually use. There's something deeply satisfying about opening a drawer and seeing space, order, purpose. It's a small victory, but it feels big. 6. Outdated technology and mystery cables. How many old phones, remotes, and tangled cords are sitting in your home right now? 1 in the kitchen drawer, 2 in a basket, a shoebox full in the closet. The speed of technology means we're constantly replacing, but rarely discarding. We tell ourselves we might need that extra remote someday, or that old charger for something. But the truth is, we usually don't. Take stock of your tech clutter. If you haven't used it in over a year, it's probably safe to let it go. Most electronics stores now have recycling programs. No guilt, no landfill. And if you're holding onto a remote and can't remember what it connects to, that's a pretty good sign it's time to say goodbye. Letting go of these things doesn't mean you're letting go of the past. It means you're making space for clarity in your drawers and in your mind. Because every time you clear a corner, what you're really clearing is your path forward. Let's talk about the kind of clutter that weighs the most, not in pounds, but in meaning. This kind doesn't just take up space on your shelves or in your closet, it tugs at your heart. 7. Sentimental keepsakes that have grown too big. We all have them. Photos from a trip we took decades ago, a box of letters from someone we once loved, the baby shoes of a child who's now raising their own children. These items are precious and they matter, but sometimes they stop being a source of joy and start becoming a source of overwhelm. There was a woman I spoke to recently. 68 years old, widowed, thoughtful, soft-spoken. Her living room was filled with framed memories. Every shelf, every surface, every inch. She said to me, "It's like my memories are closing in on me." Not because she didn't love them, but because she didn't know how to choose. Here's the truth. You don't have to keep everything to honor the past. You can digitize old photos and store them in a frame that rotates through each one. You can choose one keepsake per chapter of your life, just one, and give it a special place. You're not erasing anything. You're simply choosing what gets to live in your space and what gets to live in your heart. 8. Clothes that belong to a different version of you. Now let's open the closet door. Do you have a dress you wore once to a wedding 20 years ago, but haven't touched since? Business suits from a job you retired from a decade ago? Jeans that no longer fit, but that you hope might one day? We all hold on to clothes, not just because we like them, but because they represent a part of who we were, or who we wish we still were. But here's a gentle truth. The body you live in today, the life you live now, deserves clothes that honor where you are, not where you were. If you haven't worn it in the past year, it's probably time to let it go. Keep one piece if it truly means something. Let the rest move on. Someone out there needs those clothes, Not because they belong to you, but because they're exactly what they need today. And you deserve a closet that feels like freedom, not a museum of who you used to be. Because letting go of clothes is never really about fabric. It's about letting yourself step into the life you're living right now. We've talked about the things hidden in drawers and the ones tucked inside our emotions. Now let's talk about something even sneakier, the clutter that shows up in our day-to-day routines. It slips into our lives little by little, almost without permission, and before we know it, it's everywhere. 9. Plastic containers without their lids. Open any kitchen cabinet and there's a good chance you'll hear the sound of Tupperware tumbling out. Lids that don't fit, containers that are stained, cracked, or missing their match. We hold on to them thinking it might come in handy. But how often does it actually? The truth is, most of us only use a small handful of food containers on a regular basis. The rest? They take up space, frustrate us when we cook, and add to the quiet chaos of a kitchen that's already working hard. Here's a simple step. Match every lid to its container. If it doesn't have a partner, let it go. Keep your best sets. Recycle the rest. You'll be amazed at how peaceful your cabinets feel when they're not fighting back every time you open them. 10. Multiples of the same thing. Let me ask you something. How many scissors do you own? Spatulas, pens, coffee mugs? Most of us have duplicates, then triplicates, then an entire drawer full of something we only ever need one or two of. It happens slowly. We forget what we already have, or we buy a backup just in case. But eventually, these extras become clutter, not convenience. Walk through your home with fresh eyes. Ask yourself, do I need 4 bottle openers? Will I ever use 8 measuring cups at once? Keep your favorites. Let the others move on. Donate them to someone who might be setting up a home for the first time. Share them with a neighbor. Less really can be more, especially when it comes to tools, not treasures. 11th, supplies from a hobby you've moved on from. We all go through phases: painting, gardening, sewing, woodworking. Our interests evolve, and that's okay. But what happens when we keep the supplies long after the joy is gone? I once spoke with a man who had boxes of model airplane kits in his garage. He hadn't touched them in 15 years. I keep thinking I'll get back to it, he said. But deep down, he knew he wouldn't. It's not failure to move on from a hobby, it's growth. And letting go of the supplies is not letting go of the joy you once felt. It's making room for the next thing that might bring you even more joy. You can donate those materials to schools, libraries, community centers. Someone out there will put them to use. And you'll gain back your space. And maybe even your curiosity. Because life after 60 isn't about holding on to every part of the past. It's about creating space for what comes next. Sometimes the clutter that surprises us most isn't in plain sight or tied to emotion. It's the maybe someday stuff. The things we put aside for later and then quietly forget. 12th, expired pantry items. When was the last time you went through your spice rack or looked all the way to the back of your pantry? You might be shocked at what's hiding there. A can of soup from 2009, baking powder that expired during the Obama administration, spices that lost their flavor years ago but still take up shelf space like they're paying rent. The pantry is one of the most overlooked places in the home, but it's one of the easiest to reset. Here's your invitation. Take one shelf, not the whole pantry, just one. Check the dates, smell the spices, toss what's expired, donate what's still good but you won't use, and organize the rest so you can actually see it. Pro tip? Label the shelves by category: grains, sauces, snacks, to make grocery trips easier and reduce waste. Because a clean pantry doesn't just help your kitchen function better, it helps your meals and your mind feel calmer. 13. The fix-it-someday pile. We all have one. A broken lamp you meant to repair, a chair with a wobbly leg, a radio you were going to take to the shop next weekend, 6 years ago. It's easy to justify keeping these things. I'll get to it eventually. It still kind of works. It just needs a new screw. But let's be honest, if you haven't fixed it by now, are you really going to? Unfinished repairs don't just take up physical space, they quietly weigh on you. Every time you walk past that broken table or pile of tangled cords, you feel a tiny pang of guilt. You may not notice it, but it's there. Here's a simple rule. If you haven't repaired it in a year, set a deadline, 30 days, and follow through. Fix it or let it go. And if you're not realistically going to fix it, pass it on to someone who can. Because your home should be filled with things that work, not things that used to. 14. Someday, stuff in hidden spaces. Let's take a walk into the garage, or maybe the attic, or the back corner of the basement. What do you see? Boxes you haven't opened in a decade? An old treadmill collecting dust? Random pieces of furniture you swore you'd use again? These hidden spaces often become silent storage zones for indecision. We don't know where something belongs, so we stash it there and forget about it. But here's the problem. Even when you don't see the clutter every day, it still affects you. Just knowing there's a mountain of someday stuff waiting in the garage can create a subtle feeling of stress, a background hum of unfinished business. So start small, one corner, one box, one shelf. Don't aim to clean the whole space in a day. Just begin. Progress is more powerful than perfection. And the day you finally walk into that garage without feeling overwhelmed, that's the moment you know. You didn't just declutter a space, you reclaimed your energy. Sometimes clutter doesn't come in the form of little things. It's not receipts or spice jars or old phone chargers. Sometimes it's the big stuff, the pieces of our home that once felt comforting, but now just feel heavy. 15. Furniture. That's too big for your life today. Let's walk into your living room. Take a moment to really look at the furniture, and not for what it is, but for how it makes you feel. Do the pieces give you comfort, or do they take up too much space, both physically and mentally? Years ago, you may have chosen that oversized sectional to fit a busy household. Maybe there were kids, grandkids, holiday gatherings, noisy game nights. And back then, it made sense. That big couch was where stories were told, naps were taken, and family memories were made. But life changes. Now you might find that same piece makes the room feel smaller, harder to clean, tougher to move around, and somehow heavier. Not just in size, but in presence. And that's okay. We outgrow furniture the same way we outgrow clothes. Not because something's wrong, but because something has changed. Downsizing doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing what fits now. Maybe it's a compact love seat with soft cushions. Maybe it's a table that doubles as storage. Maybe it's just one less chair you never actually sit in. When your furniture fits your lifestyle, your whole home feels lighter. And when your space feels lighter, so do you. 16. Collections that no longer spark. Joy. Let's talk about collections. The little things that started with joy and slowly became just things. At first, you probably loved every piece. Maybe it was a figurine you found on a special trip, then another as a gift, then 5 more at estate sales. Before long, your shelves were full, then the cabinets, then the hallway table. What began as a source of pride became just another thing to dust, another thing to rearrange when company comes over, another thing that tugs at your energy every time you walk by. There's nothing wrong with collecting, but sometimes what we call collecting is really just holding on to stories, to memories, to a version of ourselves from another chapter. Here's a gentle invitation. What if you chose your top 5 favorites? The ones that still make you smile every time you look at them. And what if you gave those pieces room to shine? Because when you keep everything, nothing stands out. But when you keep only what matters, those few treasures become even more beautiful. And for the rest, let them move on. Gift them. Sell them. Donate them to someone who's just starting their collection, someone who'll love them the way you once did. Decluttering isn't about erasing who you were. It's about honoring who you are and giving yourself space to become who you're still meant to be. Let's take a breath. You've just gone through a list of 16 things. Some were small, some were sentimental, some were sitting right in front of you all along. And maybe, as you listened, you found yourself thinking, "Yep, I've got that drawer." Or, "That chair really is too big." Or, "I've been meaning to clean that cabinet for years." You're not alone. You see, clutter isn't just about stuff. It's about stories. It's about seasons of life that once mattered deeply, but may no longer serve the life you're living now. And that's okay. Letting go isn't forgetting. It's making space. Space for new memories, new energy, peace. And here's the most important part. You don't have to do it all today. You don't have to clean the whole house or declutter every corner or say goodbye to everything at once. Just pick one drawer, one shelf, one habit. Start small and be kind to yourself along the way, because the goal isn't perfection. It's freedom. It's ease. It's walking into your home and feeling calm, not overwhelmed, proud, not buried. That's the kind of home you deserve. So if you found something in today's video that hit home, something you know you're ready to change, tell me about it. Leave a comment. Let me know. What's one thing you're going to let go of this week? And if this video helped you in any way, share it with a friend. Someone who might be quietly struggling with clutter, just like you were. You never know who needs to hear that it's okay to release the past and make space for joy. And of course, if you'd like more gentle, honest, wise advice for life after 60, hit that subscribe button. We've got so many beautiful conversations ahead. Until next time, take a deep breath, let something go, and enjoy the peace that follows.